What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Babbles Nonsense podcast. We have Meenu back for part 2 of our spiritual, kind of spooky season episodes. Today's episode is all about clearing negative energy, everything from sage to Palo Santo. She even gives tips and tricks using sea salt and lemons to clear negative energy. And it's not only about clearing negative energy from your house or your office or things like that. It's also clearing negative energy from your mind yourself. So if this interests you, then definitely stick around.
All right, guys, welcome back to part 2 of Halloween special, where we talk about cleansing, clearing of negative energies, and all things woo. And I was just telling Jonna, thanks, Jonna, for being here for the second part.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, so we were just talking about it, kind of discussing what we should talk about and how the episode should go. And I was like telling her, this is going to be so like woo woo, like this is going to have so many things which are based on sea salt and lemons and this and that. So if you're not interested, that's okay, like take it or leave it. I am recording this episode because I have had a lot of interest in this topic. I've had people reach out to me saying, hey, I'm like feeling negative in my house, negative in my environment, like what can I do? Some people have sensed things in their environment, like actual spirits and things like that, and asked me what to do. So again, keeping up the theme of the Halloween, we really want to talk about how you can clear energies, whether there is, something present in your house, whether there is nothing, or whether it's just dense energy, whether it's negative energy. We're just going to cover everything. So thank you for tuning in.
Yes, always. Thank you.
Yes. So let me talk about generally when you need a pick me up, right? Like, let's say, you're working from your house, which started happening with a lot of people from the pandemic. Like, a lot of people have, started being in the house more and they just felt off. They just feel stuck. They just feel something is stagnant. The energy in the house is not very nice, for whatever reason, right? The first thing I would always say people to do is open your windows and start saging. So go ahead and go and buy yourself some white sage. You can find that in Amazon from multiple sellers. And then go ahead and buy yourself a sage holder, like an incense holder. And they have that in Amazon too. There are so many brands that sell you that. And then the key to doing sage, and I know a lot of people have already done sage, and this was actually taught to me by a shaman. And ever since I did it, I can actually visibly see a difference in the energy in my house and the energy in my office. So when people buy sage, they usually like light the whole smudge, on fire, and then they use that. And then a shaman actually told me it works, the plants, because sage is essentially plant spirits. And it works better when you break up the sage itself and you put tiny pieces of that onto the incense holder and then you light it up, right? So obviously make sure the fire extinguisher or any fire alarm, all of that is like off in your house. Smoke alarms, all of that should be off just until the time you do it, because it's going to be real smoky. And then you light it up. You start from the entrance of your house, whether it's an apartment, whether it's a house, you start at the entrance. And then when the smoke is like, on and coming, then you make sure the smoke touches all the surfaces in the entrance, like tables, like chairs, like, even plants, like pots, everything that it touches all the surfaces, touches all the objects. And then it has to touch the corners of the walls. Like in my house, I have like high ceiling walls. So it's like the corners are like pretty high. So I almost like have to stand on a stool when I'm like saging. So it has to touch the corners of the room. And then it has to fill up your entire room, and make sure the windows are open because the sage needs a place to go. Okay. And then when the sage is leaving, like when the smoke is leaving outside the window, I want you to thank the plant spirit and say, Thank you for cleansing this home. Thank you for cleansing this space. Whatever is not of the highest and best order for me and this space, let it be released. Whatever is not of the highest and best order shall be released, right? And then if you believe in Jesus, you can call upon Jesus and say, thank you, Jesus, for cleansing the space. Or if you believe in any other God, like I'm a Hindu, so I believe in Ganesh, so I'll pray to Ganesh, So whoever, whatever you believe in. And if you don't have a God you believe in, you can just thank the plant spirits to really remove and cleanse this energy from that space. And then I want you to do that in every single room. I want you to do that in the hallways. Bathrooms are places which really need to be cleansed thoroughly because we bathe in the bathrooms, so there's a lot of like things being purged and released in the bathrooms. And bathrooms are also like, it's really interesting. In Feng Shui, bathrooms are also called wealth portals. And in Japanese culture, so they say, keep your bathrooms clean for the wealth to come in, which almost is like really bizarre because you would think,
You
how's the
would,
wealth going to come from the bathrooms? It's
right, right. That is weird.
hey, don't shoot the messenger. This is just something I learned from Feng Shui and from the Japanese culture. And it's just very fascinating. I just think that these things have been there longer than we have been born, and maybe
Right.
some truth to it, you know?
Oh, I agree. I've been very interested in this topic lately just because of all the house stuff that I've been having in general. And
Yeah.
just, I feel like my luck, I don't know if it's luck, I don't know if it's karma, I don't know what it is lately, but it's like one thing after another. And I don't
Mm.
know if I'm putting the negative energy into the universe. So if I then sage my house, I know we're not done with the saging process, but then I want to get into also how do you sage yourself?
Oh, yeah. We're going to get into all of that. So once you finish saging the house, you keep the windows open, you keep the doors open, let it all go out, let it all cleanse out. And then you pray on it, you release it, right? You should start feeling a difference immediately. Okay, I've told this to many people, and I do too. Okay. The second step, people usually use Palo Santo a lot, and people do it in the absence of sage. The best way I feel like you need to do it is like sage first, because sage clears the present negative energy in the space, and then Palo Santo welcomes the positive energy that you really need for the space. So once you've finished clearing it with the sage, then use Palo Santo. So Palo Santos, you can also get it in Amazon. They're like these like sticks, which almost like look like sandalwood,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like already broken down, so you don't have to do anything. You just light them up, and then they smell amazing. So you use the Palo Santo. It's not as elaborate as the sage. Like you don't need to like make sure it touches the corners. You don't need to do all that. Like you just use the Palo Santo and make sure the smoke is in every room a little bit and it smells good, and say, thank you for the positive energy that the spirit of this brings into the room, brings into the space, and almost like opening and welcoming the positive energy and kind of like doing that for your entire home or your apartment. And it's going to smell great after this. And you don't need to open your windows for Palo Santo, guys. Like you can keep them closed. Once the sage is over, like you can shut the windows, and then Palo Santo will just it can just operate on its own. And then you welcome the positive energy. So that is like basic 101 on how you can cleanse your energy, cleanse your house's energy, cleanse the room's energy, cleanse your space's energy for just positive energy, just basic.
Now, with the Palo Santo, do you have to start at the front of the room like you do with the sage, or does it matter which order you start
That's
in?
a really good question. You don't have that order for Palo Santo.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
can do it in any order that you want. You can start with any room that you want,
So
right?
will I know you said Palo Santo smells better than sage because that's one of my reasons why I'm like, oh, I really don't want to sage my house because I don't love the smell of sage.
Yeah.
So will that go away?
Yes. Yes. If
Okay.
you have the windows open, like make sure the windows are open for all the sage to like leave, and then use Palo Santo. So that will like mask the smell of sage,
Okay. I
typically.
may have to wait till fall to do this because it's still 90 degrees in the south here.
Oh, really? It's not
Yeah,
today?
it's
Oh,
90 today. Yeah. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. But I'm wearing a sweater because I'm ready for fall vibes and I'm trying to bring it on.
I'm so ready for,
I'm
oh my
drinking
God.
my
I'm
peppermint
so ready.
tea with my sweater on, just ready for fall vibes. I'm trying to bring it on.
Oh my God, I'm ready for all of it too. I cannot wait. I feel like this is fake fall. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Bring
Yes.
the real one.
I agree. I agree. All right, so that's step one and two for the saging and the Palo Santo for your home. So let's
Mhm.
kind of switch a little bit to saging and do you Palo Santo yourself? Like do you just sage yourself?
I have not Palo Santoed myself because I've never heard of it. But I
Guess it
have
couldn't
saved.
hurt. Welcome to positive energy. Come on
I
in.
know exactly, but I don't see any reason why you shouldn't. There's no reason why you shouldn't, but I have saged myself a lot. So the best way to sage yourself, guys, is like you again use the sage. It can be you have to stand when you're doing this, and you literally like let's say the sage is like you're holding the sage on your right or left hand, and there's smoke going, right? You just make sure your body touches the smoke. So either you're bringing the smoke around your body so it touches your body touches the smoke, or you're literally walking through the smoke so that your body touches the smoke. As long as your body touches the smoke, you say whatever is in me that needs to be released can be released, whether that's anxiety, whether that's negativity, whatever that's in me, I give full permission for the plant spirits to release that, right? And then say thank you for releasing it, in the highest and best order. And then that's it. It's very, very simple. It's not, I used to do this like regularly before. Now I don't so much because I sage my house so much and I meditate and I practice breath work, and which is very high vibrational anyway. But feel free to do it. Everybody needs to sage.
I've actually never saged ever in my entire life, so I'm interested to see how this goes. Like, well, that's I did a ceremony with this girl, like a plant ceremony or whatever it's called, and she did sage, and I was like, oh, that smells awful.
I know. You get used to it. I feel like it's like wine when you first have it. It tastes an
I still
acquired.
hate wine.
You hate wine. I love wine. I feel like
I
I
want to love it because I'm like it makes you feel like an adult and it makes you just feel I want to love it. I just do not. Like I'm just like now I'm talking about red wine specifically. Like I like sparkling wines or
me too.
I do like a dessert wine because it's sweet, but when it comes to red wine, I'm just like this is bitter. This is not enjoyable. So,
I feel you.
it doesn't suit my palate.
It like grew into me. It like grew on me almost like it took a while and then it grew on me. It's going to be the same with sage. It's like at first I was like, what is this? And then the more I did it, I'm like, oh, okay, it's going to smell like this. And you know what else? Like this is not a cleansing ceremony, guys, but this is just a quick tip. Like if you're cooking something, and this is me, I have like odd pet peeves. Like when I'm cooking something and the house smells like food way after I've cooked, I don't like it. I'm
Same,
like, I'm
same.
already done with cooking. Like, why does it smell like food? Like, no, like, and then so I'll sage the house. And then you know what? That gets rid of the smell.
That's a good idea because sometimes when I cook stuff like fajitas or curry dishes, like that just stays in the house for literally like a week, I
Oh, yeah.
swear.
Talk about curry dishes. It's on another level. Yeah. Hey, I'm coming from curry. I come from curry. I
Yeah.
cook, so I know.
Yeah. So like
I
those
know.
are the two main things when I cook it. It's like, okay, why is this still in the house a week later?
Yes, I totally feel you. So you can use sage. I use sage in my car, guys. Like your car is like a sacred space. It's actually a space where you spend a lot of time. So I sage my car like once a month, so that it can get rid of any smells, odors, and also like any negative energy. So your car is like a vessel that takes you to many places. So I think it's like pretty important that you sage your car.
And
Okay.
also, let's go ahead and put safety back on. Since we mentioned turning the fire alarms off, let's now turn them back on so y'all
Yes.
don't forget and blame us.
Yes, don't blame us. Yes, this is just I don't know, 15-minute interval where you don't have them on, but please turn them on.
Please set an alarm in your phone, make a note. We are not responsible if you
Yes,
burn your house down with sage.
yes, exactly. So true. Thank you for that, Jana. And then the next one, which is something that I did when I moved into my house. This is not something you need to do regularly. This is something you can do rarely, which apparently like literally releases all the negative energy. Is you put sea salt on the surface of the wood or the carpet or whatever you have in your home. You like sprinkle sea salt and then you play high frequency music blasting in your house. Okay, so apparently the combination of the negative ions in the salt along with the high frequency music does something together where it kind of like absorbs absorbs all the negative energy from the house. And then leave your house. This is something I've like told a few clients to do it when housewarming, da 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 da, all these things. You apply, you put some salt, you play high frequency music, put it on speaker, leave the house for a couple of hours, and then you come back, you vacuum the house and you open the doors and you open the windows. And apparently that has really shifted a lot of my clients' homes energy. I did it when I moved in. Like I said, I don't do it frequently, but if you consistently feel negative energy, then I wouldn't, I would probably suggest and tell you to do the sage. I would tell you to do this, all of the things, because why not, right? We never know. We
Is
never
this
know like who lived in our property before. We never know who lived in our house before. We don't know what energy they had, and energy is contagious.
is it the same? Is that similar to when people like throw salt over their shoulder?
It's really interesting. I don't know if it's similar, but I
Hmm.
do feel like salt has it plays such a big role in ritualistic, especially in cleansings and things
It
like that.
does.
It plays such a huge role. And I don't think the people that like told us, I don't think they were like fooling around. I think they were onto something. Clearly it's been used for centuries.
Well, I know we talked about tarot reading last week, and like, so the girl that I go to here in town that does my tarot card reading,
Mhm.
every time I go, she has like a bowl of salt on the table. And if I'm
Yeah.
remembering correctly, she has a candle in the middle of the salt
Mm.
and it's always lit. And she said that's just for good energy.
Yes, yes. So another thing, guys, since we're talking about bowl of salt, thanks for reminding me. This is so interesting. So I do this here, and my parents do this religiously back in my house in India. So we have bowls of salt in the bathrooms. And this is again told to me by a shaman saying that it absorbs the negative energy and we replace the salt every week. So we keep it out for a week. And sometimes I keep it in my office because sometimes when I have in-person clients, there is a lot of energy going on. There is a lot of negative energy being released in the sessions. So I have, a bowl of salt in the office, and then I just change it.
Does it matter
So,
what salt you're using? Like, do you need to use like Himalayan pink salt? Do you need to use a certain sea salt or Epsom salt?
so what I've heard is rock salt
Okay.
and salt are the best for this.
Well, I'm sorry, you cut out rock salt and what?
Rock salt and sea salt.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't heard anybody use Himalayan pink salt. I haven't heard anybody use any other forms of salt. I've just heard rock salt or sea salt. So I've used a lot of rock salt.
So that brings up in question a Himalayan pink salt lamp.
Yeah.
Is that absorbing negative energy? Like, because I have one in my bedroom because I just thought it looked really cute with the decor.
Apparently it does.
Oh,
Apparently,
good.
yes, apparently it does. I have one too. I really love it.
I
And
have
I'll,
one at work, and literally, I've heard that they can sweat, and I've never seen that happen because I was like, how is this lamp going to sweat? I came into work the other day, and there
uh,
was like a puddle of water all over my bookshelf, and I was like, what is this? Is that bad, or is that just because it was so hot in the office?
that's so crazy. So I've had like I like cleansed my Himalayan salt lamp and I put it in my office, and then it had like so much extra salt deposits that had fallen on the floor. And I was like, that is really interesting because I had cleaned it and there were no deposits before I like turned it on and I used it for some time. So
Yeah.
I do believe like all forms of salt have some form of absorbing negative energy and clearing it. But in terms of the bathroom, the cup in the bathroom, I've only heard of sea salt and rock salt.
Okay.
So maybe it does work with pink salt. I have not tried it, but
Okay.
I don't see why it won't because I feel like they have the same properties, right? I mean, it's like,
I think so because I think I think there's a Himalayan pink sea salt. It's still a sea salt. I think it's
mhm.
supposed to be, for whatever reason, healthier. I don't know. I'd have to look into it. Like it's supposed to have more minerals in it or
Yeah.
something.
Oh,
I don't
that's
know.
all interesting. Okay, wow. And then the next one, guys, this is super woo-woo. Again, don't shoot the messenger, but this is just something I did. I like it. I like all things woo. I'm a little witchy like that, like I love doing all this. I believe in all this. I think there is something to it. I think there is a reason why people did it, all of those things. So this is something I really like. This is also to absorb negative energy. You take a lemon, you cut the lemon into four, and then you put a handful of either table salt, sea salt, whatever salt you have. There is no restriction in the salt. You put a handful of salt in it, and then you leave the lemon in the center of your home, whether it's the center table. You can also put the lemon below your bed. You can put the lemon in your office, wherever you want the negative energy to be absorbed. You can put it and leave it for a week and then throw it. So this is also said to absorb a lot of negative energy around you, and then you just get to throw it. And so this is something a lot of my clients did. They like it because most of the clients that I see are a little bit, into this. They're already spiritual, they already sage, so they like to enjoy and add on more like tools and practices to their existing practices.
Correct, correct. Love anything. I mean, and what's even if you don't believe in it, my thing is like, what is it going to hurt to try it just to see?
Exactly. Like,
Like, it's not changing anything. I mean, yeah, you're spending 20, 30 minutes doing something,
yeah.
but what is it really changing? Like, if you don't believe in it, but like, if it works, then okay. If it doesn't work,
I
then you've wasted
definitely
20 minutes.
Yeah, for me, I definitely let me tell you my ritual. Like what I do is I vacuum the house and I mop the house, and then I use Florida water to like mop the house. And I was talking to Jonah about it because Florida water, you can get that in Amazon too. There are like ones that come actually from Peru. I have the ones that actually came from Peru that I got from another shaman. But you can get those off in Amazon. So whatever cleaning liquid you have, you mix it a little bit with Florida water. That is also said to raise the frequency of your house. So I sprinkle a little bit Florida water, I mop the floors, and then I sage. Like I fully sage, I open all the windows, then I use Palo Santo. So I have a whole thing that I do. I clean my house multiple times a week, but when I sage my house, it's like once a week. Like I
I was
do.
about to ask you how many times you sage your house. So once a
Yeah,
week.
once a week. But I sage my office almost every day
How
because
long does it take you to sage your whole house?
20 minutes.
Okay, so not like something crazy.
No, 20 minutes. I listen to some chants, I pray over it. It's like this nice ritual I have going on. And I feel better when I do it. And I don't know, like I said, if it's a placebo effect. I don't know if it is, but I do feel better.
Yeah.
And my clients feel better. So I'm like, maybe it has something to do with it?
Well, I mean, if you feel better, then by all means, keep doing it. I mean, that's the same thing with meditation, right? Like some people say like they don't feel anything with meditation, and then some people say it's life-changing to them.
No,
Do you
absolutely.
do you think it comes down to like kind of like we've talked about on previous episodes, like when we truly believe in something, like if we're putting that energy into that space. So if I'm doing like let's say I'm saging and I'm going into it full force, like this is definitely going to make me positive. This is going to change my space, then it will happen. But then if I go and sage my home, but I'm like, this is not going to work. I'm wasting my time. Why am I doing this? Does it also come from what you're putting into it?
So that's a really good question. Yes and no. Because the reason is because I am not an easy believer. I'm very like practical, guys. Even though I'm like telling you all these things, even though I do all these things, I'm very practical. I'm not gonna jump up and down when I see angel numbers. I'm not gonna jump up and down when I see two pigeons. I'm not gonna think my grandma's coming talking to me. I'm not one of those people. I'm sorry if you are, no offense, if you believe in spirit guides and things like that. I do believe in them, but I don't get obsessed with them. I don't give my power away to them. I am not one of those people that will just easily believe something unless it happens. I'm actually more of a person that needs to experience it to believe it. My partner calls me very observational. He'll be like, you're so observational. Like you're not, like overly positive. And I don't believe in that, right? I mean, it's like I don't know if it's true. So I only believe in what I feel.
Right,
So
right.
I always, for me, like even when my clients are like skeptical, I don't see it as a red flag at all. I'll be like, that's fine because I'm like you. I'm open. Let me put it this way. I'm open, right?
Right,
I'm not like, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be because then I've created a story in my head that it's going to be great.
right,
Okay,
right.
so I don't play by stories. I play by facts. So it's like so when my client is like skeptical, I'll be like, okay, why don't we try? And then we'll rank it down. And then when you feel better, you'll believe it. Yes. And then they'll be like, yeah, absolutely. When I feel better, I'll believe it. And then so they'll believe it. So I feel like you don't have to fully believe in it, but as long as you're open
Hmm.
is the key. If you're
Right.
open to something else, if you're open to better, if you're open to seeing things differently, as long as you have that opening, that little open mindset, I think that that's enough.
Agreed. Agreed.
Does it kind of answer you?
Yeah, it does. No, because I was just curious if it like if it's something we may think isn't really working because we're being so negative about it. Because you know how you can put negative energy into the universe and you're like, why is all this bad stuff happening to me? But it's really because you're keep manifesting negative stuff. Like I know me and you had like a private conversation about that where some things just kept happening that weren't going my way, but yet I was having those thoughts and you were like, well, Johnny, you're kind of manifesting that because you keep
Yes.
thinking the worst case scenario. And I was like, well, I'm just trying to like plan for it, like in case it happens. And you're like, but you're kind of putting that out in the universe. And so I had
Yes.
to quit doing that,
Mhm.
just to see if it would go away. And it did.
Yes, absolutely. So definitely, I mean, if you're having a negative approach, this is the thing, guys. Like, if you can be skeptical but be open, I think that is the absolute best place to be in because it's like you're saying, hey, I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try because I want to feel better. I want my house to feel better. I want my environment to feel better. Great. So now you're open. So now that curiosity is still living within you, right? But if you're saying this isn't going to work, whatever, I'm going to try it. This is not going to work. Then obviously it's not going to work because even if it does work, you have convinced yourself that it's not going to work.
Right. Right. I agree. I agree.
So yeah, I would just say be very open when you're doing all this. Be curious. I always tell my clients like curiosity is the best way to like feel great. Not, not hyper positivity or not negativity, right? Curiosity. Just be
Mhm.
curious. And that's pretty much it. Are there any questions that you wanted to ask before we end this episode? I know this is a short one. I just really want to do a two-parter so people can have something to go off of and cleanse their space.
No, I think I asked as I went, pretty much what I needed to ask. I think you honestly did a great job explaining it where I didn't even need to ask any questions. Oh wait, I have one other question. That's a lie. So I know we mentioned, and I know you mentioned this kind of throughout the episode, but kind of let's just do like an overview of when you may or may not need to use these things, especially the sage and the Palo Santo. I know you mentioned like when you're moving into a new house, when you just feel stuck energy, you feel negative energy. Would there
Yes.
be other times, like, okay, for instance, what's going on with my house right now? I know I haven't spoken, I don't know if that's
Yes.
the, I haven't
Yes.
talked much about it, but like there's some things going pretty wrong with my house and we're trying to get that resolved through the
Yep.
builder and whatnot.
Mhm.
So like I had reached out to you and was like, I need to sage my house because this situation that I'm going through is just not getting any better. And I just feel like it's not going to until I do something.
Yes, yes. So that is, I'm so glad you asked me this. So glad because I feel like I missed a point in this. Damn, we should really start taking notes for the podcast.
It's hard. I don't love taking notes for the
Me
podcast because then I feel
too.
it feels so scripted. So I just like to kind
Oh,
of go off of it. But then I know every time we get through with the podcast, we're like, damn it, we should have said this.
yes, no, absolutely. No, I'm glad you asked me this. So anytime this is something, right? Anytime I feel negative, whether there's a negative feeling, whether there's a negative emotion, whether I have just felt really stuck and negative, the next day I'm saging, okay? And then second thing, whenever you have an argument with someone, whether that's your spouse, whether that's your partner, whether that's your friend, you're having an argument in your phone and you're walking around the living room screaming on the phone, excuse me, energy will get absorbed in the environment. Everything is energy. You are energy. Energy is everything. So when it's like heightened situations like that, or you're working in your office and you have a home office and you're working through something really stressful, or you've had a good cry and you're feeling really bad and sad or emotional, high negative energies, right? It's like, yeah, you need to sage. You need to be doing that. So that's the exception. Like, so that's why I said I sage my house like once a week, but I sage my office very frequently because I have, I do Zoom calls from my office. I see clients in my office. So we talk about a lot of things which could be negative or sad or traumatic. So I sage my
It's probably when you get off this podcast with me, you're like, damn, I gotta sage. It was Jonna again.
Hey, come on. You know I love it. This is like my pick me up
I
for,
know.
for my
I had to throw a
Sunday.
little joke in there. I had to
I
throw a little
know.
joke in there.
Yeah, so those are situations I would like really sage. And then again, I'm not a professional when it comes to, demons and entities and things like that. But if there is minor spirit activities, like if you're sensing some other energy in your house and it's not malicious, it's not volatile, it's not violent. You just sense another presence in the house, and things like that.
You're
Go
gonna
ahead
make me have
and
nightmares.
sage. Go ahead and sage. What'd you say?
I said you're gonna make me have nightmares thinking about like evil spirits.
Nah.
Evil spirits don't exist. Evil spirits don't exist. Yeah, I'm serious. I'm scared of everything, which is funny because I'm gonna go watch Beetlejuice by myself today. So
Oh
I'm
my,
like, I'm probably, even though Beetlejuice is not supposed to be quote unquote scary, like little
yeah.
shit just scares me. I don't know why. Like, like I know this is a whole nother topic, but like Halloween is not like I don't like spooky shit. I don't.
I don't like spooky shit. Hey, I don't like spooky shit. Like I'm actually gonna do another episode. We should probably do together. It's like the things I do to stay like in a good vibration, and the
Yeah.
things are the things that I don't do to stay in a good. That'll be a good episode to follow up. So, yeah, guys. So if you're like sensing something in your house, and this has actually been a request like multiple times of like people have reached out to me. And I will just say use sage, use Palo Santo prayer, really believe in the high vibrational, unconditional love of God. Call upon God, whoever you believe in. You know, God is the highest form of consciousness. Call him upon, chant, pray, sage, Palo Santo, and then whatever you sense, an entity or a spirit, because this is what I want you to know, guys. Like spirits are not the way they show it out in the movies. Yes, sometimes they can be like violent and malicious and all those things. Sometimes they are just stuck. They are human consciousness that are stuck here, not knowing how to go to the light, not knowing how to go to the other side. So it is our job to tell them that, hey, it's okay. It's safe for you to go. It's safe for you to cross over, right? Some souls are just stuck. So when it comes to those kind of spirits, if you're just sensing energy and you want them to cross over, you can always say, hey, I need you to leave. You know, this is not your space and it's safe for you to cross over. I need you to leave. This is my house. And then you can actually have a talk with them and sage and use Palo Santo, do some prayer, you know, all of those things. But again, if it's something demonic or if it's something, you know, too much, call a priest. Call a priest. Like,
Have an exorcism.
yes.
Watch The Exorcist, which I have never seen, by the way, because I'm too scared to watch it.
Oh my God. I don't think you should because
I'm
you
not
did
going
alone,
to.
so I don't think you should.
I can't even walk through those corn mazes that are like corny as hell and supposed to be haunted. I can't do it. It freaks me out.
Really?
I'm
They're
serious.
haunted? Oh, I
No,
don't
like
even know.
like the haunted corn mazes during Halloween.
Oh yeah, those.
Yeah, I'm not
Yes.
doing that. No, no, thank you. Mm-mm.
Yeah. No, I think it's also good because fear is like generally a low vibration, and generally like not subscribing actively to fear is a good practice.
Oh, well, then I guess then I'm gonna have a lot of spirits around me because I subscribe highly to the fear of them. But
No,
anyways, I
yeah.
appreciate you doing this episode again for part two. Thank you guys for always listening. And we'll have more coming for you. So just
Coming
get into
for
this,
you.
yeah, getting into spooky season, even though it's not my favorite. But I love stuff like this. Like I don't feel like this is spooky or witchy or anything like that. I feel like it's just energy, which is different
Yeah,
than.
it's just energy. It's just cleansing. Just a quick note, guys. Please sage your phone. Please sage your phone because you see so much content in there, which sometimes it's desirable, sometimes not so much. And you know that has a vibration. Everything is energy. All objects have an energy field, even if it's your phone, even if it's not a living thing, it still has an energy field around it. So cleanse everything, sage everything, clear everything, stay high vibrational, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or Jana. I'm going to put her in Instagram and information in my show notes. Thank you again for tuning in, and I will see you on the next one.
And same guys, menu stuff will be in my show notes. And until next time, bye.
Bye.